Sometimes I get questions about how do you elevate when you're constantly triggered and you're in a war zone? By just doing it. You don't have to feel like you're elevated. Do it anyway. Do the physical action of elevating. And eventually you'll gain leverage and you will start to feel the elevating. Right? In the beginning, you might not feel elevated. That's normal. I didn't feel shit. I felt horrible. I felt nauseous. I had triggers. I felt bombarded by OCD thoughts. I was focused on all my symptoms. Right? So do it anyway. And the elevating feeling, that feeling that you are elevating will come later. So there's all kinds of forms of elevating that we can do. There's many forms. There's dancing, taking the dogs for a walk. Dancing's great because you almost have no choice but to dance and get into the music, right? Because it's making you move. It hits that limbic nerve where you get memories, you get the feel-good dose sitting in there, right? And then it's like you almost have no choice but to go, I'm enjoying this, right? And you know what? Even if you don't enjoy it, do it anyway. And for me, it took me 8 months. You start feeling good every time you go for your dancing, hour of dancing. Every time you do your visuals after, you start to feel good. So going for walks, watching a funny movie, playing guitar. Is there an instrument that you like to play on? Is there a hobby you like to do that makes you feel good? Even if in the beginning it doesn't make you feel good, but eventually you will. So when people say, I'm trying to elevate, but it's not working, do it anyway, and it will catch up. And eventually you will feel the dose. Because if you just give up because you don't feel it at first, then you will never get there, ever. You're still running the old program, right? This goes the same with exposure therapy. People think, I'm doing the exposure and I'm feeling worse. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling, this can't be working. I'm still at a 10. Well, that's the thing. That's what's supposed to happen. With exposure, just because you feel like shit, just because you're terrified, does not mean you're not doing the work. Does not mean it's going to get better. It actually, the worse you feel, the more work you're doing. The more scared you are, the more work you're doing. Just make sure you give it the proper response. Don't white knuckle. Don't survive through the process. You're changing the program, so you have to change your response. If you don't want to change the program, then don't change the program. It's pretty simple. The concepts are pretty simple. If you want to run an old program, run an old program. If you want to run a new program, you have to change your response. And that's where the saying, think greater than you feel while you're elevating, and it will catch up. But as long as you do not miss a day of elevating. And eventually, when it comes to elevating 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, you're going to push yourself to do elevating all day. You're going to try to find ways to, how you schedule out your week on your calendar so that you don't have time where you're not doing anything. Well, you're going to try to schedule out your week, and every activity or every errand you got to run or anything that you have to do, you're going to try to figure out how to do it in a way that it's elevating. So if you got to go to the grocery store and listen to music, okay, stream that music. Dance in the car, tap away on the steering wheel, right? Find a way to elevate with everything that you're doing day to day. If you're doing doing the dishes, how could you elevate doing the dishes? Well, music. See, music seems to be something that you can use everywhere. You getting tangled? That's why I love music so much, because I can pick all kinds of different music styles. I can dance to it, and I can bring it with me everywhere, right? You can get headphones, right, and go stroll through the mall and listen to music. And when there's nobody watching you, you can dance a little bit. So this goes with exposure, this goes with elevating, this goes with visuals, right? In the beginning, your brain isn't able to process a lot of the memories. Valley, come on. Because the prefrontal cortex is offline, right? The amygdala is taken over, so it's offline. So it's hard to tap into those memories. That's why you make a list, so you don't have to search around and dick around, right? You go into your book and you go, okay, boom, right down here. Here's my list. Here's a memory. Let's get to it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to remember everything, because your memory is going to get back online eventually. And all of a sudden, memories are going to flood right back in. The gates will open. The brain relaxes, and your memory comes back online. Then visuals become easier and easier and easier. You'll be sitting in d.o.s.e more and more and more. It'll be a lot easier. In the beginning, half of my visuals were me going, well, and then I ate a sandwich. Oh, this thought's in the way. Oh, I'm triggered. Okay, right? That's how it goes. Well, I don't know what people think it's supposed to be. Well, I'm doing a visual, so my brain should give me 5 minutes to do this visual fully without having any old programs or any alarms ringing. Why isn't my brain giving me a break so I can do these visuals? Well, it doesn't work like that. It's going to run the old program while you're doing the visuals, right? It's like a parent who's got 5 kids, and they got to find some time to do whatever they want to do. Do you think the kids will be like, okay, we'll go on pause? No, it doesn't work like that. You just have to do the visuals the best you can for 1 hour. If you're struggling for 1 hour to do your visuals, that's fine. You did 1 hour. It doesn't matter. You attempted it. In time, as long as you keep doing it, you will gain the leverage. But if you give up because you say to yourself, oh, I can't do it, and you don't do it, you will never gain that leverage, or you will graduate to the stage where you can feel the dose, where you can move forward, where you can have that natural flow in a visual. When that happens, you can be like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like to have a visual and feel good. This is what it's supposed to be like to be able to bring up an old memory and actually remember it and feel it. That's how it goes? Okay. But you'll never get to that level and graduate to that stage unless you stick to it. If you can't do one visual a day for 1 hour for 2 years, forget it. Right? Just forget it, because you won't recover and you're just going to stay coping and suffering for the rest of your life. Those are the hard facts. That's the truth. So this goes with visuals, this goes with exposure therapy, and this goes with when you elevate. When you're elevating, it doesn't mean you're going to feel butterflies and sunshine. You're going to feel the opposite, right? It's an uphill, slow crawl. It's a roller coaster of shit. Get used to it. Enjoy it. Get indifferent to it. And eventually you'll see that little light of glimmer opening up. So keep on doing it every day. Elevate, 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 elevate. And eventually that light grows to an open sky, birds and butterflies and happiness. And then you will feel the dose. And then when you finally feel the dose, you're going to simmer in it and absorb it. And then it just opens up real quick.